Greetings, geeks! Welcome to episode 505 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am joined today on this glorious day by two of the greatest geeks that you are ever going to imagine. I got Rob Roseboom.
That's me.
And I got Chris DeBona.
Hey, everybody.
All right, I know what the buttons did. The buttons worked. I just forgot something about them. So everything was good. That was how it was supposed to be. All right. It's Friday. It's storming. Rob, is the storm still serious by you?
Can you see how dark it is in my house? It's
There's not
like night outside.
There is not a lot of illumination. Yeah. It's actually just as dark here, but I have a giant light right there, so I appear to exist outside of space and time.
Yeah, and we had about a 5-minute power outage earlier, so
if you go, we'll know why.
The day looks good.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Rob, I was actually wondering, are you doing this on the laptop, the MSI?
Yeah.
Have you cracked it open and seen if the battery is bulging yet?
It started to.
Uh-huh.
I absolutely know what you're talking about. It started to. I just don't play the game on it anymore. As long as you don't play a game, it doesn't get hot.
It doesn't get hot, yeah.
But as soon as you start playing a game on one of these MSIs, oh my God,
Yeah. So the only thing I'd say is I actually pulled the battery from mine, and it works great plugged in. You don't need the battery. So if you're worried about it, catching on fire, burning down your house, bait style, yeah.
It's the only way to get it to die.
It's actually super easy to remove. It's got some adhesive, but like only a little strip. So you just and you pull out the plug and you're good. And then
I might make that an afternoon project then.
It's fun
because it does have a slightly rounded. It looks like maybe we're not into third trimester. We're maybe a couple months.
Yeah, mine was crowning. So
right,
it's still feminine curves. It's not yet the bloated explosion.
With a bad back and a kid stepping on the kidneys. In fact, if I was local to you, if I was in the same orbit as you, I would loan you my Gamers Nexus wide mod map.
Oh, so, you mean your
because there's a couple screws that are a little longer than the other ones.
Your alter really to Steve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my Steve alter. So because I don't have the long hair anymore, so all I can do is buy a mod map.
My long hair is getting really bad. And you can't see it with my headphones on, but I have now a mullet that is curling around in the back, and we have a friend who has a sister who cuts hair, and I keep hey, could maybe you cut my hair?
Did you cut my hair here?
You cut it all off?
Yeah. After a 90-degree boat night last night, I shaved my beard as soon as I got home because it's untenable.
Yeah, it's about time for me. This is getting a little Doctor Strangey, but comics, not movies.
Right.
And then so I'm not going to say this out loud. I hope nobody's listening. My spouse has a black market speakeasy hair colorist and cutter. So it's very exciting. But that said, my wife is my hair cutter now. My hair's getting thin. I'm getting older.
We are all getting older, Chris.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, but I'm finally going the way of my father and my grandfather on my mother's side. I'm going both white and bald. Not really. I mean, I'm just a little thinning,
I'm actually pretty impressed because you
have beautiful hair.
No, the recession is getting pretty amazing.
Is that the widow's peak that they speak so much about?
The widow's peak is definitely you'd have to take oxygen with you if you want to get up to the top of the widow's peak at this point. Yeah. It's an Everest situation.
It's an Everest. It's we're all getting older, so at some point they'll throw us off YouTube for being too old.
That's why.
I'm sorry. That's TikTok.
No.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of TikTok, Walmart is apparently now in the running for the bids for TikTok.
I'm sorry, isn't that the funniest story ever? This is a hilarious story. You know my unabiding love for TikTok, right?
Oh yeah, you're like Mr. TikTok.
No, I'm not. I follow like my kid and a couple other like Zach King. It's like it's the most wholesome TikTok. It's funny because my TikTok is mostly like woodworking, of course, a bunch of dancing idiots, and then a couple other people. But like, if you stray away from the woodworking and crafty TikTok, it's like all 11-year-old children, and I'm just like, this is a very difficult site to manage legally.
It's true. And Walmart, I mean, if the people of Walmart blog has taught me anything, or the Tumblr, I guess from back in the day, it's that Walmart knows how to treat its customers, and this is the way to go.
Yeah.
Well, and let me just tell you what a treasure trove I found people at Walmart. I mean, it was for sure one of my favorite. I'm a little bored. Got a little time to look at, man's inhumanity against man and go through people of Walmart.
If Florida was a store.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, so I went over to the people of Walmart.com, and I think I'm on the 4th post before I find something I can put up and share. Hold on a second. No, can't share that one.
No. A lot of guns. A lot of muffin tops.
Okay, so this one I kind of admire. Here, check that one out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, right. So,
I mean, that's just good natured going shopping. That's how you do now, because with social distancing and everything, if you, know, like have like some clear visual flair, You'll
I saw when this whole thing first started. I saw a picture of a man who had built a suit with pool noodles out to 6 feet around him. That I thought was, wow, that is brilliant.
So was this on TikTok or was this on People of Walmart? Because this sounds like a TikTok thing as well.
It was more People of Walmart, but it wasn't that exact site.
This is my favorite. Oracle, on the other hand, has long been rivals with Microsoft, both to compete. It's like Oracle's also pitching in, trying to do it. And I'm just like, this month, Mr. Trump told reporters he would support a TikTok sale to Oracle, which he called a great company. And it's like,
so yeah, you're friends with Larry Ellison, I assume is what happened, or Larry Ellison told you were great.
So what happened out here is Larry Safrakatz and Scott, what's his name, who used to be in charge of Sun, they ran fundraisers for Trump, and he visited out at Larry's like palatial estate in Woodside or whatever. So yeah, they're firmly attached to his butt.
Right. So it's the sort of situation where Oracle opens the door because the president has a personal relationship with them, but Walmart writes the check because Walmart has desperation squirting out of their ears right now as Amazon is systematically eating their lunch.
So I don't know if that's actually true. It's my understanding that Walmart's doing quite well.
Oh,
I mean, through all this thing. And
I'm speaking.
And no, I thought that Oracle was going to tie up. So it was Microsoft tying up with Walmart, TikTok. So it was Microsoft tying up with Walmart because Microsoft's been Walmart's partner through Azure for years, and it's one of their. It's literally like, Satya Nadella every morning probably starts with a Walmart update, right? Like it's their most treasured contract, right? So them tying up with Walmart to pull in TikTok is very on brand.
Fair enough
for these people. That said, this is a very tricky company.
I mean, once you get to a certain point, though, aren't all of the corporations very tricky? I mean, everybody's got their fingers in so many pies that like there's no easy way to buy this. But this is a weird one because I don't know, they don't really have a media presence.
Well, this is a really tricky one.
Yeah, although I will say maybe it's a push on their part to get more media presence, to get more entertainment. Since they're doing drive-in movies in parking lots all over and stuff.
And that was actually, I thought that was really innovative of Walmart to pull that off.
I thought it was classy.
Yeah. Super classy.
They've always been like really kind about like letting people use their parking lots for like mobile homes or whatever and stuff like that. That's
For sure.
It's kind of in there. And like out here, like you'll see they'll use them as like the rest stop, drive and park and drive or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a decent thing to do. But I mean, it's really no different, I suppose, than like Amazon not that long ago decided that they would get into streaming TV for some reason. I mean, like the companies all stretch their tendrils. Amazon wasn't a media company 10 years ago. So, and I mean, Apple wasn't a media company 10 years ago.
Yeah, that kind of always were, though.
I mean, sure, okay.
I mean,
back before they made TV shows and music. Sure.
That's true. That's true. They're only really getting their feet under them for the actual production, but yeah.
So. I don't know. Well, all right. We have a funny one on there, which you should just see. It's YouTube. Please stop showing me Trump ads.
Who is this posting this? Is this Commander Taco?
Oh, I posted this, but it does sound like something I would bitch about. But it's just he's got some good examples of ads. Ads get different treatment in the user interface. In terms of what buttons are highlighted and such, and he's just pointing out that there's special treatment occurring for these particular ads. Other ads have a block button, a don't show me this anymore button, but not DJT, man.
Well, it's not just DJT. It's political advertising is extremely regulated in all countries, but even ours. So
right,
I don't know if this is just their interpretation of their.
You can only buy political ads if you're a Russian entity that's obscuring your identity through multiple Cayman Island shell corporations. At which point you can bottomlessly pour cash into any of the top 5 social media providers, and that's fine. Everybody along the food chain just needs plausible deniability, and then democracy survives.
Sure, but I'm gonna be that guy.
Sure.
It's like, this is why I pay money. I pay money for YouTube Premium,
so do I.
And it is worth every damn penny I spend. And I'm not saying this is a Googler. I'm saying this is somebody who loves YouTube videos. Okay?
Yeah,
and it's like, I've never seen these things. I don't even want to see them. I don't want to see them on the Biden side. I want to see them on the Trump side. I don't like political ads. I tune them out when they're like playing in airports or whatever. I'm just, it's great.
Very few things make me angrier than that when you're filling up gas in your car and the friggin' gas pump is playing you an ad. I'm like, come on, man. I have 2 minutes here to just like chill, and you're gonna try to sell me crap?
Are you telling me that you haven't seen any of the Biden "Come on, man" ads that they're running now?
No.
Where they show something bad that Trump did, and then they have Biden saying, "Come on, man."
So it's like
to show that he's hip and cool.
So it's
stop that malarkey.
What is it, like a TGIF sitcom catchphrase?
It's like, do you remember back in the day when everyone tried to do rap? Like everyone had a rap video and they were all awful.
Yeah, and they're all Pokemon going to Eminem's house.
Because they thought it was hip. It's just like that. It is so cringeworthy. It's awful. I mean, I don't know why our side just can't get it together.
Wow.
That's all I'm going to say.
So the funniest thing about all this is that, about, it was probably 4 years ago, as my son was just exploring YouTube, he came to me, he's like, "Dad, did you know those ads at gas stations, if you hit the far right button on the very bottom, not the keypad buttons, but the other buttons, it mutes them."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to try that out. And it actually worked really
some kiosks,
like 90% of the time.
Some kiosks let you mute them, some don't. Some just have a cancel button. And I was like, come on, man. I've got a minute and a half here. No kid is yelling at me. Can I just not? Can it just be quiet? Can it just be quiet? But yeah, YouTube ads are some of the worst ones, and I had to pay for the YouTube because the ads were just unbelievable. And I watch
and now you're supporting creators. I mean, I hate to sound like that guy, but where do you think all the rev share money comes from? Man? It comes from ads and it comes from premium.
I'll support them through Patreon, where I don't think that a disproportionate share is being taken.
Well, that's reasonable, but the Gamer Nexus Bod Mat, I'm supporting my Steve.
I got a T-shirt.
You did?
I
cool.
I got a Gamers Nexus T-shirt, man.
That's cool. That's good. And Big fans of Steve on the channel.
No, I still haven't figured out how to support Evan and Caitlin.
Oh, you buy some of their crap, I guess, right?
I hate all their crap.
Oh, do they have like crappy merch?
None of the things that they make are things that I want.
They have that one.
I keep meaning to go on their Patreon.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, none of their stuff is nice. I always have a problem with the Patreon thing because the way that Patreon works is it's a timing thing. I want to have it all click at the same time. I don't know. I don't like how the way that the Patreon works necessarily, but I prefer it.
They have a couple of cute shirts, like "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this," and it's the kit, the supervisor.
But I already have
later. Okay,
I already have several Zelda reference T-shirts. I don't know if I can have any more Zelda reference in my wardrobe.
Okay.
All right, so there's actually an interesting one about the internet in Belarus. And they're talking about how as the internet was getting shut down, I was unclear as to the specific nature of the internet being shut down, but apparently people were leaving USB keys out on doorways and stuff that had VPN connection information for people to route around. And
wow.
I mean, there are a few things. There are a few things closer to the center of my essence of being than people using the internet to thwart authoritarianism. That's what I wanted it to be, and I didn't want it to just be, a mass surveillance tool where the government just takes, whatever they want and manipulates you.
This was the headline about the Belarusian protests that was very chilling, in my opinion. This is the one. It's like, oh, okay, things are not going well, and they're not gonna go well, right? This is not going to be a flowering democracy. It's going to be bombing and attacks and nationalistic horseshits propped up by Putin.
It's basically I think of it as the pregame show for November.
Big time.
And I keep saying it. I think it's going to be bad. I think we're going to have a problem in November. I don't know what that problem's going to be. There was actually a good story I didn't put up on the list, but it was war gamers playing out every possible scenario that they could come up with for post-election. And it was basically an electoral landslide, a really close call, an electoral landslide in the other direction, Trump refusing to step down because of they had all these different war game scenarios, and they were playing it all out, and they were talking about what they thought the percentages were, and there was only a 25%. There was only one scenario where there was a peaceful transition of power.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not looking forward to this election. So.
No, I mean, we've got the vote by mail, so I'll do my vote by mail a month ahead of time. So I mean, that's all you can do. But I mean, we talked about this before. I ship pens regularly. They usually get there in 72 hours.
Yeah, you said it was taking 2 weeks.
I had people getting their pens 13, 14 days after I shipped them. And I know that's just that's me. I mean, I've shipped maybe 30 or 40 pens in the last 3 months, but
you're like a pen shipping expert at this point.
Oh yes. But I know that is 10 days longer than it was at even at the height of the pandemic. My very first shipment of pens, I shipped a dozen pens in late May or something, or early June, and those all made it in 72 hours. All the domestic ones. And so this is different. And whether or not you're a conspiracy theory person that thinks that this is being done with intent, or whether or not it's just an unfortunate side effect of mismanagement, it's gonna matter. And if for no other reason, it's gonna matter because it's going to give both sides a reason to argue and contest the results regardless of what they are. And then we're going to have 17-year-olds with rifles doing what they do.
Yeah. Have you considered just throwing up a storefront and selling pens? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, I don't know. It's not like a great business, I guess. But
No, it's not. The only reason that like the people that sell them for a sum of money that is hard for me to justify the extra effort and pressure. Like, I mean, I spend 2 hours on a lot of these pens, you know, and that's before materials. And I spend 3 hours on them sometimes, you know, and that's, you know, you can't just sell that for, you know, $30 if you've also got $30 worth of materials in it. I like giving them away, and I also like knowing that I've been responsible for literally thousands of dollars of donations to charities that I like. So that's.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. You know, I just, you know.
That said, if somebody wants to buy them, I'd sell them for a really huge markup, and then I'd just turn the money into more materials to sell, right? To do more donation pens.
Yeah. No, I once met like a guy. He was the son of. There's like an Australian pen brand, like really high end stuff, like $2,000 a pen, you know, kind of. And it was just like, you know, but yeah, that was more of an operation. You know,
yeah. Now, the stuff that I make, generally speaking, the higher end for it is like $70. You know, for, you know, maybe $90. If people do fancier things than I do, like my techniques are very basic. But even the upper bounds for what I'm doing, you know, $100-$150 for like really high end materials, and I generally use pretty low end materials. I mean, a lot of the pens that I make are, you know, $15, $10 worth of parts, and then, you know, 2 hours worth of time, or, you know, an episode and a half of every little thing.
So it looks like this is what you're saying.
Yeah, those are the things that are expensive.
Yeah, I don't think you're ready to do metal work like this.
No, I actually I've kind of sworn off doing metal work because I've done a few that do have some metal work in them. Actually, I'll show you one. I don't know how well this will come off.
Welcome to Pen Talk with Rob, and Chris.
I was just gonna catch autofocus. Let's see. So that one,
there it is.
Yeah, that one has some metal work in it. And when I was working on that one, I did 2 or 3 at the same time, and I thought I got something stuck in my eye. Like a metal shaving, and this was my complaining about I had like a month and a half long at the beginning of quarantine where my eye was hurting, and it turns out that it wasn't a metal shaving, but I had to go and have a doctor like look at it, just to make sure. But like after that experience, I'm scared to work with metal, because that hurt really bad, and even though it wasn't the cause, my brain is telling me that was the cause.
Were you wearing proper safety glasses?
I usually am. I probably was wearing safety goggles when I'm working with metal. I usually do. When I'm working with wood, I usually just wearing my glasses. I mean, they're not protecting the edges, but also I'm not like, when it's metal, I'm a little more careful. But anyway, let's see. There was another one about the Apple Facebook battle.
Apple's getting snippy.
Yes.
You know, they're getting super snippy about this thing. They're like they're pushing back. They're being stubborn. I think that this is not wise. I think they should reconsider. You know,
I mean, I guess I haven't sat down and looked at the pie charts of where the Apple revenue is, but the problem is that if you give on 30%, where does that stop? And at 5%, it's probably not a particularly good business anymore. And at 5% is probably a lot more reasonable. That makes the service more akin to like the credit card service charge, something in that vein, as opposed to right now 30% is like the equivalent of rent for your like a storefront, or like your head count for an employer. Like that's a Looney Tunes percentage.
It's crazy. It's a crazy food cost number.
Yeah.
You know, if you're running a restaurant.
Right. Yeah. But if you're running a restaurant, food cost, human cost, and rent cost are your big 3 expenses, right?
Actually, you know, food costs in a typical restaurant is under 20%. So what you're really, you know, and their profit is measured in single percentages, right?
Totally.
This is why all the food delivery apps are
those are bad,
because they're just like, oh yeah, well, let's just take, you know, 20% off the top. It'll be fine. Oh, you cute restaurants. And it's like, there's no incentive for them doing this,
It's
and
a
all
similar
the
problem
dirty
to
tricks they've been pulling,
like the
not
Instacart,
okay.
the shopping cart businesses. Like grocery stores also are another one that just have razor thin margins.
Yeah.
So all right, that's Apple's revenue. So if they cut, so all right, I mean, just which of those blobs is them taking shares? Is that services?
So I don't know. So it's currently thought to be about $50 billion a year of their whatever 260 billion a year that they make. So call it. It must be this services revenue 22.04%.
That's the green bar maybe.
That'd be the green bar on the top. Yeah.
So all right, I mean, even if they cut their, I guess if they cut their percentage from 30 to 15 or something, like cut it in half, that doesn't like murder their final revenue numbers. It ain't good, but I think the bigger problem is that if they give to 15%, then they're going to have to give to 10 or to 5 because
I mean, they should just tier it the way that Steam did, right?
Yeah.
Once you hit 1 million, once you hit 5 million, it reduces, And the thing is, I mean, and that seems really aggressive. I get it, but I think that this is one of those things where it's like if they manage to bring the price down, it'd be like the iPhone SE. It would be a huge hit, right? Like the iPhone SE has sold incredibly well, right? Because people can afford to buy it. People want to buy things, right? But if you only charge huge premiums, they don't buy things, right? So
this particular story that I shared actually had an interesting screenshot, which was what this was about. It was a mock-up, I think, of a purchase screen, and it was something basically saying it was like $9.99 for this item, but with a clear indicator underneath that said 30% of this is going to Apple, and that's what Apple threw them out over. So
they're like, no one talks about this. It's not okay to talk about what Apple charges. Apple is all about the people and about thinking different. And it's not like 1984, man. We don't talk about money. And it's like, dude, when you're the most valuable company in the world.
But again, if you were taking 5%, maybe that would be okay. You're taking a third. You're taking a third.
It's just usury, man.
And there's actually some other stuff in there that's pretty garbagey too. If you buy a $10 app and then refund it, Apple doesn't refund their percentage. I mean, there's a lot of really douchey things. Which again, if you're at 30%, that's just horrible. If you're at 5%, okay, whatever. Cost of doing business, I suppose, but. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a rough situation. The thing that really always has made me angry about this, and this is true, this isn't an Apple problem, this is an industry-wide problem, but it's that every piece of technology you use has a long chain, and it sucks that whoever's at the end of that chain, there's one point in that chain which gets to have all the profit. You're not. RAM vendors are struggling to do commodity level pricing. You're not paying a percentage on all transactions of things done on your RAM. And every time that there were issues with that back in the day too, where operating systems would try to have more of a revenue percentage thing, and you see that to a certain extent with Amazon, right? Like AWS pricing, you're paying for clock cycles, I guess, a little different. But again, if you get yourself in the sweet spot at the very end of that chain, why does Apple get to do that and not, the dude who invented the SMTP protocol? That's still a vital piece of the chain. It's just that because you're at the end of the chain, you get to hold your hand out and say, money, please.
Well, the number of people I see it like if the internet is a series of tubes and money is flowing down that tube, there's all these people going pluck, pluck, pluck as it goes by, and none of them are Eric Allman,
Yeah, for sure.
Creator of SMTP.
Yeah. I mean, But I guess my problem is that there's 100 links along that chain. XKCD actually had a really good cartoon not that long ago, which was the modern tech stack, and it's just like a visualization of all these squares, and then one of the squares with the whole building, the whole pile leaning on, is like some dude in Nevada who's been building a module in his free time for 15 years, and like that guy doesn't got his hand out, and he ain't getting 30%. I don't know. That
True.
makes me angry.
Something just came up that I think is really important.
Does it involve Bill and Ted? Dune
No.
news.
Dune news.
Hold on.
So we got Halleck, we got Duke, we have Paul, and we have Lady Jessica. And then there's another one here, which is Chani and some Fremen, so there you go.
Damn dirty Fremen.
Who's playing the sandworms?
I think it's Donald Trump. No,
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito as the sandworm.
As a sandworm.
Hey,
That'd be fucking brilliant.
Hey guys.
I brought my pistol.
That would be very funny.
You guys need my gun?
So this week I have watched Bill and Ted 1, Bill and Ted 2, and
you're patient, man.
Today I will be watching Bill and Ted 3.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I'm actually pretty dang thrilled. I don't even care if it's good or not anymore, but rewatching Bill and Ted 1 and 2 has been a really kind of endearing experience. Those movies in many ways are better and in many ways are worse than I remember, but they're both totally watchable.
Well, I'm not saying I won't enjoy watching it either, but it's not going to be good, right? You're not holding out hope that it'll actually be good.
Right.
So in April of this year, we didn't talk about this because we didn't notice it. But
I talked about this.
We talked about it? Okay. Sorry. Right. Well, I just wanted to bring this up because it's such a cool article.
It's actually been extensively discussed in my home about 6 times in the last 2 days.
Okay. I must have been out for that episode.
Yeah, maybe.
Or Bates forgot to upload it, So.
He would do that too. That's the kind of disrespect.
This is a very interesting article, though. It's really cool.
Yeah. They're like, if Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure can do it, why can't you?
Yep. Be better with your costumes, man.
Yeah, jerks.
Yeah, I don't really I'm gonna be happy if Bill and Ted is a strong three-star kind of movie. Like, just don't.
Out of how many stars?
So my system is generally a 5-star. My system is 5-star. 1 and 2-star means don't bother watching. 3-star means there's something in there worth watching. It might not be a great movie, but there's something in there worth watching. And in the case of a Bill and Ted's movie, a strong 3-star might get by just by being a good 2-star movie with enough nostalgia piled on top that I don't care.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I had more hope before I saw the part of the trailer where they're in jail and all buffed.
See, but the question about that is that a 20-minute sequence or is that a 30-second montage moment?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it looked hilariously bad, that part,
Yes.
I'm all in. Just rewatching Bogus Journey yesterday. There are
2 out of 3.
Well, okay. There's Bill and Ted. There's evil Bill and Ted, and then there's Bill and Ted robots. Yeah. So there are 3 Bills, 3 Teds. I feel like it's totally okay for there to be as many Bills and Teds in this movie as they want.
Yeah.
As long as there's not a Martian again, right?
As long as they're not what?
As long as there's not a Martian again, right?
You don't like Station?
No.
So I read where Station got his name.
I had purged that.
Who cares?
This is good. The reason Station got his name is because the scriptwriters are incredibly lazy and silly people, which is there was a scene set in a police station. They deleted the scene, but didn't delete the word station. They only deleted the word police. And so for some number of drafts of the movie, there was just the word station loose on a line that neither of them bothered to delete, and they eventually started thinking was funny that they had this word in their document and they just left it there. And then when the time came for them to need a name for the alien, it became Station because it had been a running joke between them for previous drafts of the movie. I think that's fantastic. But also, the bad guy's name is Denomalous, which is Solomon spelled backwards. Like, literally, the writer made the bad guy his own name spelled backwards. That's pretty cool.
You know, I will say these robot Bill and Ted, they kind of remind me of the robot in Doom Patrol, like the
for sure, Mr. Robot. Yeah.
But,
All right, man. We should say goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob Roseboom.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about the stoned elephant.
The what? Oh, the stoned elephant. The lead story.
A lead story on the zone today.
Take it, Rob.
Go.
Well, they're giving elephant CBD oil now to help relax them and to, lessen their aches and pains and whatnot. Now they're just giving them CBD oil, not straight up weed. Yeah. So they're not stoned elephants. They're just,
chill.
They're just mellow elephants, chill elephants.
Yeah.
Did you see that they were absorbing it through their trunks?
Through their trunk. Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
It's kind of like snorting CBD, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. So I know they have these for dogs and stuff. You can get them at most pet stores now. Heck, I think even at mainstream stores you can get CBD oils or tinctures for your pets. So
tinctures, yes.
I mean, I guess we have pet psychiatrists. We might as well have pet dope.
Yeah, it's easier to get healthcare for your pet than it is for yourself.
True that.
Don't get me started.
True that.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have access to large quantities of CBD oil if either of you attempt to watch Bill and Ted today.
Do you mean for my elephant?
Yep. For your elephant.
One of the stories I used to tell my kids was that there was an elephant in the backyard, but he was really, really good at hiding. And my daughter totally believed it when she was like 2. So,
like Snuffleupagus style.
Like no. There's a dumb old joke. How does an elephant hide in a strawberry patch? Paints its toenails red. That's it. That's the whole joke. It doesn't make any sense. And then so I was like, hey, we've got an elephant. He's over in the strawberry patch. And she's like, where? And I was like, in the strawberry patch. She's like, we don't have any strawberries. And I'm like, well, that's true. And she's like, we don't have an elephant. And I'm like, no, we don't. And she's like, Dad. So I would do this thing where I would lie to my children like excessively until they
father.
Yeah, and until they caught me, so they would question things, question authority, man, and it served my children very well.
This sounds kind of like the guy who's all like, "I'm not really a jerk. I'm just a jerk because I want to get a rise out of you." It's like I'm not evil. I just lie to my children until they catch me.
I mean, things were difficult for her when she turned 11 and found out what her real name was.
Yes, that's true.
Dad, why did you name me Xenu?
For the record, not a Scientologist. But yeah.
But her driver's license.
Well, I think I levied a very hefty moniker on her as it was. So
yeah, that's true.
Okay. A lot of letters to write when you get in trouble on the board.
That's right. When you're Bart Simpsoning your way across the chalkboard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Goodbye, Rob Malda.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
Goodbye, everybody.